Click that like and subscribe button and go sign up on superchargedstocks.com and let's keep you notified. Good day, everyone. It's Andrew with Supercharged Stocks. We're having a catch up with President, CEO, and Director of Trigon Metals, Jed Richardson, who's in Namibia right now. We've got a lot of questions for him, a lot of catching up to do. Good Sunday morning. Happy Sunday morning.
Yes, here you go. Sunday morning in Windhoek, Namibia. We're a couple hours south of the mine and picking up a couple directors and some investors because we are starting open pit mining this week. So this is big time for us. We've been building up to this for a while. It looks like we're going to be hitting all our goals of production by the end of the year. First concentrate shipment by the end of the year, and it all comes down to now. So, big thanks.
This is awesome. I mean, during a very stressful, chaotic time, and we've still got COVID pandemic. Under these circumstances, probably in the past, you wouldn't have said, ideally, this is how it's going to go, but it's going. You're on target because we have companies over here all the time that their milestones are pushed, but you guys are on target and you're in Namibia, man. Get things going. And here we are.
Yeah, no, it's been wild. And we really have a great team. I think I don't know if I got to touch on that last time, but by moving quickly, we've been able to secure really some of the top mining people from around Namibia and assembled them all. We're kind of the Voltron of Namibian mining right now.
I love it.
And as a result, we're hitting our goals. We've got all of our hiring done. We've got our open pit mining contractor mobilized, and we're gonna have our first mining blast this week.
So that's so exciting. Since we last talked, I mean, a lot has happened, but this is definitely exciting. The stock has certainly paid attention. I just know last month it's up like 14.5% or so. Oversubscribed financing, like I think it was about 6.8 million that came in. Exactly. You updated your resource dramatically, which we maybe touch on quickly as well. But I mean, it's just been like chunk to today, which is wonderful.
So yeah, we updated our resource. We first announced that in August, and then we filed a report just last month. Dramatically, well, that was our first real silver resource increase. So our silver content went up massively. We extended. We now have over a 10-year mine life of copper resources as well. Yep. And we've got that now in a 43-101 category so that we can start mining and start producing real cash flow that we can report to our shareholders. That's really what it's all about.
Yeah, the resource is 12.22 million tons and inferred resource of 1.91 million tons, which was a 66% increase from what was reported back in October 1st, 2020. So it's a huge increase. I mean, 66% is massive.
And really, that's just the beginning, right? Like it seems a little backwards to be pounding on, but as much as we're entering production, this is really just the beginning. It's really just a drop in the bucket as to what Kombat will ultimately be. Kombat is still very much an exploration project, right? We have a lot of area that we need to drill, a lot of area that we need to just bring into resource. And as much as you'll see that first cash flow early next year, I think what's going to be most exciting is seeing what we do with drill core. Like we're going to be constantly adding tons, and hopefully to a point that we actually make the mine that we're starting this week almost irrelevant. Like that we're looking at a project that is too big for the mill and production level that we're starting now.
That's what people always want to see. They go, great, you're getting to cash flow. That's always good, especially in mining, but they can see, especially junior mining. It's like, wait, you're gonna have cash flow. So I mean,
Few and far between, right?
yeah, it's pretty exciting to have that, but it also puts you in such, for those generalists that are watching, such a strong hand when building out and expanding out. You don't have to, it's at your prerogative, the terms you want to meet for raising money, if you're going to use cash flow for that. I mean, there'll be lots of different options one can do to expand upon this property. And maybe you can kind of touch on, we don't know, but some of the things you'll do at Kombat to kind of that, where you're talking about some of these opportunities to expand it.
Yeah. So where the real opportunities are expanding along strike. So we are mining an open pit area over the central mining area. That was never a cap that hadn't been touched when it was initially in operation. We have a big opportunity to the east of our main mining area, where we'll expand onto an extension that we bought, and we're now mining around all on about 2.6 kilometers of strike length, and the entire mineralized area is over 35 kilometers. So there's so much that we need to follow up on, right? Like we'll start off with open pitable area to the east of us, but almost more importantly is what happens to the west of us in what we call an area called the Asses Far West. And this is a production shaft that was put in, completed over 10 years ago, and was never mined from. That area was never mined from. The mine closed because of some management issues back in 2008. And they never got an opportunity to mine from the bottom of that shaft. We know that area is higher grade than any other part of the mine. We'll dewater that shaft, get down there, start drilling, and I think we have an opportunity to more than double our resource just from the bottom of that shaft. And this is a 2,000 ton per day production shaft that was put in. So to put that in context, our mine, as it stands right now, our mill, when it gets up and running in December, is 1,100 tons per day.
Yeah.
We have a planned expansion of that mill for 2023 and 2024 production, going up to 2,000 tons per day. So that shaft that we have at Asses Far West has the ability to produce all of the ore we need from that single shaft. We have 2 other production shafts and an open pit. So just to put there's a lot of growth potential here. This thing could more than double in production. Right now, we are forecasted for 9 million pounds of production next year, growing to over 30 million pounds by 2024.
Nice.
And if we're successful at Asses Far West, we could more than double that with just production from that area.
Well, that's certainly going to draw a lot of attention, I think, from
Sorry,
people.
not to drone on about numbers, but that's what we do here.
Yeah.
It's all about the numbers, right? Like,
well, yeah. And especially at this stage, I mean, it's lots of story and sizzle whenever you're trying to find something. You go, hey, we think we're onto something. But once you've got something, you've got the resource, you've expanded the resource, then all the people can sit and chunk the numbers out and go, ooh, okay, yeah, this is good.
It'll be all numbers in a while, right? So it's really exciting times for us.
That's wonderful. And then we'll do a little quick touch up too, because you've got developments as well at Silver Hill in Morocco.
Absolutely.
So this is great too. And not to take anything away from Kombat, but that's on its way. Right. And let's take a quick peek in Morocco here.
Yeah. So we haven't been sitting on our hands in Morocco. We've continued our work there. So we did our drill program and our trench back earlier this year, but we've been working on geophysics We actually had a team down there this week, and they've completed the survey. We're going through processing, and we did some geochem work there. And with a view to by the end of this year that we'll be back drilling. We've also got some really good help. We have this odd situation. Making things work in this pandemic period has been a little difficult. So I have great geos here in Namibia, and we haven't been able to get those geos into Morocco because literally embassies have been closed.
Sure. Yeah.
We've been able to hire a gentleman by the name of Jed Diner, and it's another Jed. I don't know how I found one, but
It's destiny.
He's Stanford grad, fantastic geo. And he's going to be on site for us in Morocco and really help us move this program forward. I think we did a great job with what we had this time last year when we got the program started, but we're going to be able to supercharge that. I'm going to use your, with Jed's help this year.
That's excellent. Good. Yeah. So I know there's lots of sampling, and there was some trenching done there that, had some spectacular numbers. So there's lots to build on for sure.
No, really. Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that. The key is towards the end of that program, we had some great drilling, over, up to over 100-meter intercept. 100-meter intercepts of 1% copper. Great stuff. Yeah. But, towards the end of that program, we did a trench, and that's really where things got really interesting. We're 13 meters at 2.7% copper. We had 34.5 grams per ton silver and over 82 parts per million of cobalt.
Yes.
And that looks like a really strong structure. So actually in our geochem work, that's where we focused on getting a signature for what we were seeing there, because it's a hydrothermal vent. And we think we can take that signature and apply it right over the region.
Wow.
and start to pick out structures throughout the area. And again, there it comes down to size and scale. We have a potentially, again, 14 kilometers of potential strike length in that area. So if we're successful here on identifying a signature for that mineralization, we've got a lot of land that we can use that to help us identify more mineralization.
And those are fantastic results too. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And while you've got your hands full with Kombat and trucking along with the new set of milestones moving forward as you're actually starting to mine, you'll be able to have the second property with is interesting and dynamic enough for people to catch their interest on that as well at the same time.
I think so. Like, I don't know if we touched on this in the past, but the way we're looking at building this company is around growth potential. So we do have our stable base of cash flow, and I think that separates us from a lot of junior mining companies. But this view towards growth through exploration is going to be key to value and to value creation. And going back to my days as an analyst, looking at Glamis and Eldorado. All of these companies started off in a similar way and have grown to become major gold companies, and we have an opportunity to do that in copper at a really amazing time for copper as well. As we start mining here from the open pit, immediately the team's attention is gonna move to getting underground started, and that's going to add another kick to our production. That's where that growth comes from, not from 9 million to 30 million pounds of copper production. It comes from mining higher grade underground. So right away, we'll get moving on that next level of growth. It's nonstop. It's just continually building. Yeah, and really that's what I think makes this most appealing to shareholders, is that we are focused on building and growing in real material ways. So production growth, exploration growth, resource growth.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because a lot of times people think we've got the resource, the run is done, it's being established, that's it.
Yeah.
The stock stops, and then it's into growth kind of potential. But this is, I want to reiterate, definitely isn't that, because it's kind of a renovation story. Like, you've got the mine, you can get it up and going, but it is this big exploration upside to it as well. And we're seeing a couple other companies do that kind of approach as well, but it's really, I find it intriguing, because you're going to get some revenue, you're getting numbers, and as an analyst, that's always comforting. You get some cash flow coming in, but also you're able to expand more numbers, but expand on the resource going. And that's definitely, I don't want people thinking that just because you're in production that, they're done production, the big upswing is over. It's like, no, not at all. This is just starting.
Not at all. As much as I'm very focused on what we're doing as a company, we're doing it with a great macro story behind us, right? We've been able to hold over $10,000 a ton, so over $4 copper most of the year. But I think we're actually starting to see that reaccelerate. Like, we have seen gold and silver, come off a little over the last few weeks, and I think they'll start to recover before the end of the year. But copper stayed strong, and there's so much happening fundamentally in copper with electric vehicles, and something that I think I touched on when we talked last time was power infrastructure, and we saw announcements by the U.S. government on their infrastructure spending. Yep. Huge amount of it going to power, gone to charging stations, gone to even broadband internet. All of these things require a huge amount of copper. Yes. And I think the U.S. is starting to get its act together, right? But you're seeing it all around the rest of the world, where copper and power infrastructure is going to be a key focus around the world, and $4 copper might be something that we look back on going, wow, what a bargain, right?
Yeah.
Like,
so.
We could see copper really have an aggressive move over the next few months and into the next few years, as the world looks to be greener, looks to electrify itself. So,
and being relatively close to Europe as well, we see the energy crisis they're going through. There's going to be a massive demand, not just for infrastructure, but specifically for power grids, for the energy side with copper. Yeah. You're situated perfectly for supply into that market at a critical time. So I mean, it's not hard to reiterate. I totally agree with the outlook for the price, but where you guys are, like with infrastructure for your own project, but infrastructure for demand and supplying that demand. Absolutely. No, it's an exciting time. Well, thanks so much for catching up with us. Lots going on. I know you've got your hands full, but at least it's now a bit more of the fun part of the job. It's up and running. Here we go. And we look forward to catching more news out from you. Excellent. Yeah. And we'll have lots of milestones even still to announce. We're updating studies. We're announcing some special arrangements with partners as far as offtake. So great things are happening. Stay tuned. Excellent. Thanks so much, Jed. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you. Talk to you soon, Andrew. Take care.